Badlands is expensive, eh? I've got Q's just come out with a new pack, a new like freight hauler, and it's carbon fiber, and they've done something supposedly innovative with it. Sounds pretty cool. I was listening to the guy talk about it not too long ago. Looks cool through the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how Alexia just pulled up behind you and she was dead silent. You couldn't even hear her. That was so cool.
Yeah, she's pretty light on her feet, eh?
Yeah.
That horse.
Because she's a dancer. She's the dancer.
Good morning. Welcome to episode 13, Lucky 13 of Mountain Horse Studios. It is, what time is it? It is 6:15 on a Monday morning in the Squamish Valley, British Columbia, Canada. And, it's bright and early. Got to do something with the lighting. I mentioned that before. And just going to get myself sorted out here. Kind of got started a little bit early. I'm having my coffee today. Ran out of cream, but I was fortunate enough to find some Baileys this morning, so it feels like Christmas. And, that taste of Baileys and coffee, Christmas morning, pretty good stuff. Anyhow, there's that word anyhow again, Jesus Christ. What was I thinking about this morning? I was thinking about something Josh said. And when I said, after the weekend here, we had a big weekend. Lots of bookings, lots of rides, and lots of activities amongst the guides and the local people who like to call this home, thanks to Lisa and Jim at Diamond Head Outfitters. This place is amazing. You hear me say it all the time, but I wanted to share a little bit of a story with you. We're sitting around the campfire after the end of the day, and we had a couple episodes happen. And one kind of emotionally touching, I guess, if that's the word. I'm not sure if I'd like to use the word touching, but emotionally impactful, I think, is a better word for it. It has to do with the horses, and particularly one horse, Haus, who you may have heard in previous episodes. Haus got penis cancer, 6-8 months ago. He went in for surgery. He had part of his penis removed, actually a good chunk of it, and was making a full recovery. And unfortunately, a little while ago, there was some complications, and started noticing some abnormalities, and we had the vet come in, and Haus was in rough shape last night, and or yesterday and the night before, and that all affected us greatly, because Haus is he's the icon around here. Without a couple of horses here, the Diamond Head Outfitters wouldn't be it. As much as it is about the people and the great work that Lisa and Jim have done in creating this place. And as I say, this isn't a trail riding company solely. I would say that makes up a part of the business, but there's a bigger thing going on here. And that's really what's been created down here, is a space for people and horses to connect. And actually the other way around, a space for horses and people to connect. To nature, to the emotional vibration of animals, which is evidently apparent. And I'll describe that a little bit this weekend. But before I go into Haus and what happened to Haus, after we finished up, we talked about, we're sitting around the campfire, and I said to Josh, every day's an adventure around here, eh? And he says, right away, some people have that as a slogan. It's true around here. Every day's an adventure, and it's not a small adventure, it's a big adventure. There's things that go on here that emotionally touch you, really make you feel alive. Whether that be the adventure of riding horses and the connection you have with the horses out there, or the various events that happen here. And how, as much as we're connected with their herd, and when one of the animals gets sick, it's surprising how much it affects us all. It's like a family member getting sick, and it's quite shocking how much it affects us all. I think it's a good thing. It shows us that we are attuned to our animals, that we care about the animals, and they're part of our family. And this place has, I think, everyone who comes down here, it doesn't matter if it's a guest who comes down for a few hours, or if it's all of us here who make this part of our home. The impact is immense, and it's really hard to describe to people because there is so limited footage out there really showing the connection of people with horses, and quite frankly the way we do it here. So we're gonna start trying to capture a little bit more of that. There'll be some video added to this podcast, and show you a little bit of it. We did some great rides. We pressed the camera, and we flew down and made some great runs and kind of exhilarating stuff, and then look at the camera and it's like, oh, it didn't turn on. Damn. That happened a few times this weekend, but we did get a little bit of footage. It's not the best footage that we can do, but it gives you an indication of what this thing's all about. Just 1 second here. I'm gonna lose my battery if I don't be careful here. No. Shit. There we go. So sorry about that. I hate the interruptions, but I don't really want to break up this podcast. And yeah, this place is absolutely amazing. We had several groups of guests come through, and various rides based on the expertise or the skill level of confidence or adaptability of individuals. But all of them had an incredible time, and the reactions are extreme. There is something happening down here, folks. So if you get an opportunity, if you hear about this, or you hear about the podcast and it sparks your interest, please forward it or share it by all means, and get the word out. Come visit us, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to connect with horses like we do here, and how we enable it for our customers and guests to experience it. Truly amazing. If you go to diamondheadoutfitters.com, or if you search it up, Diamond Head Outfitters at TripAdvisor, you'll see some of the reviews. And the reviews speak to what I'm speaking to. What a great place this is, and it's from outside perspectives, guests and so on, and novices. Never really had much time around horses, and something's happening here where, again, people are left with such a deep felt experience, both about nature and about the human connection with horses, and it's very spectacular. So I encourage you to look up Diamond Head Outfitters, read the reviews, come down, visit us. Even if you're curious just about horses and or want to bring your children down to meet the ponies, come down, ask for me or Jim. Say, hey, we saw the podcast, and we're just wondering if you have children and you want to check it out, and you don't necessarily want to go for a ride, but would like to see the horses and the ponies. Talk to Jim and I, and we'll kind of set you up a little bit for a tour of 10-15 minutes and introduce you to the horses and the ponies, and a little bit about our approach on horsemanship and our connection with the horses, and how we relate that back to our guests. The property itself is amazing, and the herd is quite special. And every day around here is truly a magnificent adventure. And I had an added adjective there. Because just saying it's amazing isn't enough. It's the word I constantly use. It's magic. Something's happened down here, and it's connected the horses with the people who are around here in unique ways. One of the stories, this podcast is going to be pretty quick because I'm trying to work out the video syncing and I got to work out the lighting. As it's so early in the morning, I've got limited lighting. But as I say, there's so much I have to work on, and there's so many pieces of this puzzle that will improve over time. I think it's improving. I've heard words about podcast 12, that episode 12, that was one of the better ones. And so we're just kind of working through it. So each one hopefully gets a little bit better. And I think I'm starting to both enunciate and find my little tone of voice or my little groove here. And so I wanted to share with you something about animals, the connection with people, and maybe there's not only for our enjoyment or our pleasure that it's vital for us to be connected with nature, but also for our own emotional intelligence. You know, I talked a little bit about episode 12 of how, as humans, we're caught in our head. And I heard a quote the other day, and this actually was from Sam Harris. You know, if you reflect on your life and you look at what makes your life, it's really spectacular or less spectacular. We often project out and say, oh, our life is great because of this. You know, this happened, or we have this, or our life sucks because of this. But if you look a little deeper, you'll start to realize that really the quality of your life is directly influenced or directly related or correlated or tied to the quality of your mind. And since that is the primary filter, we tend to kind of project out our happiness into the environment as if the environment is making us happy. But the truth is that it's the quality of our mind and our connection with our environment that makes us happy. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're sad, confused, angry, aggressive, or dissociated, as I talked about, your quality of life is drastically affected and is very reflective of those mental states. So stuff like mindfulness really accentuates your ability to perceive how you are thinking, the emotional tone of your present condition, and allows you to really observe your mind, your body, and your senses, and an overall emotional tone to who you are and what's affecting it. As I mentioned earlier, you know, I can sense by meditating in the morning that the emotional tone, whether I'm going in with a very settled, connected tone to the day, or if there's a little anxiety or perhaps a little bit of sadness or depression or excitement to the morning. But meditating is really like tuning your instrument before you start the day. And if you don't do it, it's very apparent to me, anyhow, in my experience, that it is like starting your day or about to play a concerto, or I don't know why I use such a big word, but you're about to play a musical instrument for your own enjoyment and for the enjoyment of the people you love around you. But you don't tune your guitar first, or you don't tune your instrument first. And therefore, no matter what you attempt to do, it turns out to be kind of happenstance, whether it sounds good or not, because you didn't take a moment to really tune your instrument before you started your day and realize what tone you're going into your day with. That in itself will change your life, because you know, the quality of who you are and what you're about is directly related to your own personal happiness and sense of joy and wonder and excitement to life. This trip is far too brief to waste too much time, and I encourage everyone to turn off their bloody TVs. A TV is a waste of time, and I'm not saying that there isn't anything good on TV, but it's certainly been devised to hook your addiction, and it people who watch a lot of TV, you can see it in their personalities, because of the pace of the to grab your attention and to flip over on various scenes and just very flashy stuff all the time, which limits people's ability to actually concentrate and stay in the moment. Which directly, if you look at our life, and if we're always future pacing generally, or if we're depressed, we're concentrating too much on the past and the issues that may have happened, and being emotionally tied to that. And if you are not present with yourself, you're constantly chasing stuff that you presume will make you happy. And in fact, it's funny is that we're chasing the future for a present moment. And it's the bizarrest thing, if I only get that job, or if I only get this new car, or if only this happens. When this happens, I'll be happy. I'll be able to be in the present moment, content, and I'll be happy. And happiness never comes, because as soon as you have that moment, you're desiring something else. You're never content. And through mindfulness meditation, you get an opportunity to develop skill sets that bring you into the present moment and realize that no matter what is happening in your life, it's absolutely perfect. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense to people who haven't been meditating, but if you spend 10 minutes a day, I'm just asking 10, if you spend 45 minutes a day, the impact is bigger, but just 10 minutes a day will radically change your life. And again, I mention that because I think it's like brushing your teeth. If you're not mindfully practicing meditation on a daily basis, you're really going out there with an instrument, and you don't even know if it's tuned or not. And therefore your day is very much about happenstance and what comes about, rather than your own personal direction and how you want to express your day. On that note, what are some of the things that you learn down with horses? Well, one is the emotional connection, and one is a bit of shock and awe sometimes when you see things happening with the horses that you don't quite expect and you don't really know how to interpret. And it puts you in a state of wonder. And that has to do with, I'm going to share a little story. Haus was sick, and we were loading Haus up to go to the vet to get checked out. And we had a vet come down at midnight one night on Saturday night, because it was very, very concerned. When a horse goes to the ground, there's not much time before things go bad. And so we got the horse back up, but we called in the vet, rehydrated the horse, Haus, and got him some medications, and everyone there helping out did a great job. And so the next day, Haus was loaded up into a trailer and brought to the veterinarian clinic quite a few hours away from here. And what was interesting, and you'll see a little bit of film about it, is the horses all gathered around the trailer. And so much so that it took a little bit of effort to actually push the horses back so that we could get the trailer out of the ranch and out of the gated environment. And I was reflecting on it and watching that and found it very interesting. And then Lisa, one of the owners here at Diamond Head Ranch, or Diamond Head Outfitters, it was had an emotional impact on her, and she said she didn't like that. And if I start to weep on camera, I'm just going to leave it, because this story is a bit emotional. And she says they did this when Kahuna died. And Jesus actually might get me. Sorry, guys. So Kahuna had colic and passed away a couple of years ago, but it looked there for a while that Kahuna was recovering. And something happened, and Kahuna was standing up, and things looked okay. According to Lisa, I wasn't here, but Lisa said, well, what the horses did, they all came in from the back of the pasture. All of them in the middle of the night, and one by one. Oh, God. Kahuna was you kind of see a horse and you say horse. That's our problem with our world, is that we don't really, it's like you see one tree, you see them all. It's not the case. Same with animals. Horses have very specific personalities, and Kahuna was the funniest horse on the planet. The things he would do to try to make you, literally trying to make you laugh, and he seemed to enjoy them when you laughed, were outrageous. He was a comic. He was that kid in high school who just couldn't stop trying to make people laugh. Anyhow, Kahuna's standing up, and all the horses come in from pasture, and one by one, they walk up to Kahuna, and they put their head down to Kahuna's head, touch heads, and then walk off. It's 22 horses. It's a lot. They all did that individually, and then they walked off to the pasture. In 15 minutes, Kahuna died. What the hell is that? How did they know? And why did they do that? Is it a respect thing? What are they doing? I don't have answers for that, but in a way it's kind of disturbing. And in a way, I think it's disturbing because what are we missing in our lives? There is definitely a spiritual depth to what's happening out in nature that we don't really understand. I've heard about elephants that go back to resting places where other elephants have died, or there's, elephants kind of go to one area to die, and I guess herds of elephants go back to that area to pay their homage and respect to their ancestors. Certainly with horses. I think we are getting so technologically distracted that we are becoming emotionally retarded to the natural ebb and flow of nature and the balance and the spiritual depth of what life is about, and about life is about the present moment. That's why I'm down here, is that I learn more from the horses, certainly, than they learn from me. And I don't have answers for this stuff, but the human condition is in a bad state right now. And I guess hopefully we're evolving. I don't know why we're fighting each other for religious fucking dogma. I think there's a spirituality to life, but I don't think it has anything to do with religion. I think religion is just about power and greed and the ability to one-up another individual or group of individuals and say we're right, they're wrong. And I think that's really done to preserve the power structure and is motivated by greed for more and more and more, and greed for more power as well, to control over other people. And I think we have to make some drastic changes, and I think that's what, in part, this is about. This Mountain Horse Studios is really an opportunity to try and connect people back to nature. In various different ways, one with horses, one through hunting, and through other aspects that may evolve in this podcast. But I think the human race, the human condition is lost right now. And there's a few pointers out there that can help us find our way. And I don't think it's a bad thing to be lost. It's just, if you're lost too long, you're probably going to die. And maybe that's what's happening to us right now as a society, is that we're dying spiritually from our connection with the world and what's really important And what's really important is our connection to things and people we love. And I think we need to start rethinking this shit. You know, one of the things that, excuse me, I'm drinking Bailey's today. I think I mentioned that. It's very good. This podcast is coming off a little shaky just because I'm emotionally touched from the weekend. The dogs are waking up and everyone's starting to wake up. I'm not sure if you can hear that in the background. But, you know, if we were God and we took a group of people and say 150 people and we put them on this planet, small planet, and we told these people, here you go, you have more resources than you could ever imagine. This is the land of plenty. This is the land of beauty. This is the land of love. You have everything you need here. There is no lacking whatsoever. Go and enjoy, create, express, evolve. And then they come back years later and they see that the group of people that they placed down here had separated into tribes. And I'm saying tribes are good and cultural variance is great. But, you know, us, say me as God or you as God, comes back and looks at the tribe. And you notice right away, some people are actually starving and other people are so glutton, filled with more than they can ever consume in their lifetime. And they're continually trying to take more from less and stockpile the riches and the wealth of the world. When in fact, there's enough for everybody. This is a fuck state. When you look at it and go, what the hell? When you reprimand the people who did that? I don't know, but it seems to be the state of the world is that even if you look at the oceans for the last 100 years, we've been extracting at mega rates. Even if you just looked at the sushi trade, it's shocking there's that much fish in the ocean. Now we're getting down to it, but like how in the world was there enough fish to feed the world like we just did? That friggin' pond was full of lots of edibles. You know, we're growing too much. We're not thinking. We're allowing others to make our decisions. We're sitting on the side while politicians fill us full of the bullshit that you've seen on the American TV with Donald Trump. My God, how do you go into reality television on important issues that we're facing in the world? And ego, pompousness, and bullshit. And, you know, this is just kind of whacked. And meanwhile, everything that we need to know, everything we need in life is here. And we're not protecting it. And we need to change. And I think our spiritual well-being and happiness, and by spiritual I mean our ability to improve our lives and our ability to improve our mental condition, which is directly related to the quality of our lives. We're wasting it. We're wasting it on TV. We're wasting it in concrete jungles devoid of significant amount of natural material, such as plants and animals, that adjust our perception of the world. We're driven by greed. We're being driven by more in competition with our neighbors. We care less, it seems, every year as a society about other people. We need to change, and that change is only going to come from the heart. It's not going to come from the head. And I'll share this in departing. One of the things that really affected me is through my own spiritual growth, is that I lived largely, and I think a lot of guys do, live in your head. And there's this story I read, and this was his granddad talking to grandson, and he says, you know, grandson, there's a lot of travels and a lot of adventures that are ahead of you. and some will be very challenging. He says, but there's one adventure that is as important as life itself to accomplish, and as perilous as the most dangerous event in your life if you miss it. And in fact, it's a way of depth, and I'm doing a shitty job at this. But it says, grandson, there's one journey that you must make, and there's none more arduous and more challenging and more important that you can complete. And that's the journey from your head to your heart. And how do we make that journey when we know so little about our heart nowadays? That, we project our love onto people rather than loving people because we are loving people ourselves. We look to take from people. We look to take from our lovers. We will love on condition. I love you because you do this, or I love you because you are beautiful. That's not really love. That's some distortion of love. It's a projection that gets into desire. And if you don't deliver what I need, I will withhold my love. Nature doesn't work that way. Nature just seems to love, and I don't think love is what media tells us. Love is not an emotional state. It can be expressed emotionally, but love is more. Love is a condition, I think, perhaps of the universe. I don't know, but there is greater depth to love than the emotional gooiness that we are now addicted to with each other. And I think that love has to do with our connection, our universal connection with all things. And the more we express that, the greater the richness of our lives. And one way of doing that is with horses. They can teach you a lot. So I encourage all of you guys to take me up on my offer. In fact, there's so few right now. I'll throw this out there. If you are interested in learning horsemanship, and I've sparked an interest in you, reach out to me. I'll do my best to show you what I know, and provide you with an experience and a skill sets to do what I do. And reach out, say hello, and share this podcast if you think it's of any value or interest to other people. And not in conjunction with getting the word out, but also get the word out about Diamond Head Outfitters and the unique opportunity for all you people in Vancouver and the surrounding area, Whistler, to come out and really have an experience of connecting with nature and horses. It is truly amazing. Anyhow, that's it. Episode 13. I am stoked for summer now that it's arrived. It's about to turn to August, and we're finally having some warm nights here, and it's amazing. So, until next time, gotta go feed the horses. Bye for now.
This is Mountain Horse Studios.